Okay, I think we should be live, I would hope.
I'm hoping. I'm tweeting this out right now.
Well, there's about a 30-second delay here, and we're going to look and see. I'm going to start reading some of these chats to make sure that people can actually hear us. If you can hear us, both of us, let us know, because
Let us know, yeah.
we're a bit new to this, or I'm new to this. But been in many live chats. Judy, okay, I see Judy and Mike Barnett and Joy, Nicolette Shaw, Como 40, Monica.
Yeah, we're live, yeah.
Mike Barnett, thank you, Mike. Thanks, Quicksilver. Good. You look alive?
All right.
Wow. That's all I can really. That's all I can hope for.
Well, so because this is as much a test for us as anything, because we've never done really a live cast before. So this is can we call it a historic event?
Yeah, this is an historic event.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you say a historic event, or do you say an historic event?
Oh my God! Don't do this to me in the morning. I think an historic.
I hate that.
It sounds terrible.
It sounds so academic.
It doesn't
I don't like that.
Well, I think in conversation, it's one of those things where it's like, in conversation, I probably say the right thing, but I don't know. I feel like I use a different term if I know if I'm being put on the spot and someone's asking me what the right. Does anyone have an opinion on this? We'll watch. An historic event, says Jeff Harper.
But that doesn't make any sense, because historic starts with a consonant, so it should be a historic event. Unless the H is silent, which I don't think it is.
Historic.
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 An historic event. That would be correct.
But that's the problem, though. But isn't historic? Yeah, that's not plural. To be. But it's. I think it's weird because history feels like you're invoking a multiplicity of ideas and thoughts sometimes.
It may be.
Perhaps.
So what's on the agenda? What are we doing today?
We're going to talk a little bit about Christmas, and we're going to test out our live stream, and we're going to answer some questions later. We're going to. Anson is correct. It's an herb and historic, an herb and a historic.
Okay, good.
Okay, can you see the live chat?
No, I can't.
Oh, okay, yeah, you have to have a little window open with YouTube on it.
Okay, well, I can do that on my phone, maybe.
Well, I'm going to, while you do that, I'm going to jump straight in. We want to leave time for questions and, catch up with people and say hi. So I'm going to start off with a little recommendation right off the start. And,
Great.
Just to kind of get the ball rolling. And this is something I discovered a couple of years ago. It's an older episode of This American Life. I don't know how many people listening are familiar with that podcast. It's been around for a long time, Ira Glass's podcast. This American Life, they're in episode number, it's a rerun, episode 787. 787, called Baby's First Christmas. And he has, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and he has different stories. Act 1, for example, introduces us to Santa Allen, a man who is not the real Santa Claus, but who will for the first time be sitting in a chair dressed as Santa, asking children what they want for Christmas, and he's very nervous about it. So you get on the other side of the Santa experience, and that's a cute story. There's a few others. But the one that I'm highlighting is called Jews for Jesus for Just One Day. It's by comedian Alex Edelman, who grew up in an Orthodox Jewish household in Boston. But one year, unexpectedly, his family decided to celebrate Christmas for what he says are actually very Jewish reasons. So, yeah, it's an Orthodox family, and this is not a spoiler. The mother had a college friend, who's Christian and had recently gone through had a very bad year. I can't remember exactly everything that happened. And just had no place to go, really, and just needed cheering up. So she said, can I come stay with you? And the mother in this story said, yeah, of course. And I'm going to make you happy by putting on the best Christmas you've ever had. So it's all told from the perspective of these little, they must be like 12 or something, or younger, maybe 9 or 10 or something. And it's their first experience with any of this stuff. It's the first time they've heard of it's the first time they've heard of Santa Claus. It's the first time they've heard any of this stuff. And the father is not really into this. He was like, why are we celebrating Christmas? and she's like, there's so many funny moments. It's only 15 minutes. But like, who's Santa Claus? Well, he's a fat man who comes down the chimneys of Gentiles and leaves presents. And they're little kids, and they're like, what? and then they go to school. They're back to their school, and it's a Orthodox school, and they're like, hey everyone, we had Christmas and we met Santa. And the rabbi is like, what? Anyway, that's enough of that. Jews for Jesus. It's actually ends up becoming a fantastic Christmas story by the end of it. So that's my rec.
That's great. My first rec is don't have back surgery over the holidays. That can get in the way of things. But if you're gonna have back surgery, have the one that I had, and the radio frequency ablation. I'm up and about, and I think I don't know if I texted you or I video phoned. I don't remember, but apparently I was videoing people on fentanyl at one point after I got out of my surgery. So to those of you who received video of me on fentanyl, if you're in the right position, please don't fire me. And if you're a former friend, please be my friend again. Anyways, I'm glad I finally got it done. But yeah, it's my poor wife has been having to pull double duty on a lot of things, and my mother's here and she's sick, and so we're
No.
struggling through it. Yeah, but we'll make it.
Oh no, I did. Oh, okay. Well, that's too bad. Hope everyone's okay. And how did the surgery go? I mean, other than recommending not having it, which I don't plan on doing unless I absolutely have to. But how did it go?
It seems to have gone well. The effects don't kick in for a couple of weeks apparently, so I'm still waiting for that to happen. And just sort of getting through the pain and the stiffness of the procedure itself.
Now, how many? You described it to me before, but they do what again? They put little.
They go into on this particular procedure. They had to drill through my spine, and they had to go in with basically a needle that emits radio frequencies and jab it into my disc, and then pump that full of radio frequency for a while, and then take it out and sew me up. And apparently that kills the nerves in the disc over a period of time. I'm not sure why. And but it takes time. So
Wow.
We'll see.
Good luck.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is something that Anson and I have been trying to avoid. That was interesting. That I'm glad all of y'all saw that. This is what's happening now that Anson and I are both over 50, and we check in for the drops. And the first 20, 30 minutes is basically that. How's your health? Oh, my back. Oh, and we're
Yeah,
not.
what's failing?
Yeah, we're not old, but we're realizing that it's coming for us. So
We're on the 50-yard line.
yeah, we're in the video, and yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it gets your attention. Somebody asked, "Were you awake during surgery?"
No, no, it has to be under general because they have to drill through your spine. They can't risk you moving at all.
Oh, that's obviously why you're on the fentanyl. And all you sent me
Yeah.
was like kind of a selfie with your hair all messed up, just saying that you were high AF at the moment. And
Oh,
and I
man.
recommended that you take more. So
Well, my recommendation is the other night,
what's the frequency?
mom
Somebody
and I
asked,
were
"What's the frequency, Kenneth, of the radio?"
no idea. But the other night, my mom and I were sitting up looking for something to watch, and wanted a Christmas movie, but I kind of wanted something funny. And I know my mom has a sick sense of humor, and came across it came out last year, but we finally watched Violent Night. Do you know this movie? Have
Yes.
you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's who's the actor who plays Santa in this? It's
You're talking about the recent one, right?
yeah,
It's
it came out last year.
yeah, it's oh, I feel terrible. Someone listening knows. It's the guy who did the remake of, not remake, but
Well,
the latest Hellboy. He
he's
was
the
in
he's the lead he's the
later
lead in
Stranger
Stranger
Things.
Things.
Yeah, I just
David,
H
I can't
David.
believe his name is just, I don't know. Somebody tell us. Um, but I really like this actor, and he's just perfect in this movie.
He's a great actor. I
And
really he's fantastic in it.
and the concept, the elevator pitch for it was, without a doubt, it was
Harbor, David Harbor.
David Harbour. That's right, David Harbour.
Thank you, Lisa.
It was um what was the sorry, what's the Bruce Willis action Christmas movie that
Die Hard.
Die Hard. The elevator pitch was definitely Die Hard meets uh
Yes,
the night before Christmas.
that was definitely what I thought. I saw it in the theater, and I thought the same. I had the same thought.
Yeah, so the concept is, it starts right off with Santa's real, and is having a sort of crisis of purpose. He's doesn't like his job anymore. He's developed a drinking problem. He's thinking this is going to be the end of Christmas, and then he ends up in a situation where he's delivering presents to this very wealthy mansion that has been taken hostage by some people that are trying to rob them for millions of dollars, and he has to save them from this situation. And it's somehow it's extraordinarily violent. It's definitely not for kids. It's not for kids. It's extraordinarily violent and heartwarming at the same time. And the relationship that they build between David Harbour and the little girl in this movie is really is
Mm-hmm.
really the heart of it. And it's just, so the violence is so over the top. There's nothing else left to do but to laugh at how extreme it is. And I also found they really did their work in not just making Santa a badass, because that would be too easy. Santa had a backstory, that he was a Norse warrior at one point who somehow got selected to do this thing he still doesn't understand, but he has a background as a warrior, and that sort of is what eventually comes out. uh and I just loved it. I hope they do another one.
I that the fact they didn't really fill out the backstory makes me think that they were planning another one, because they only hint at Santa's backstory in this, and it's such a surprising moment when that
See, yeah, I would love to see that movie.
right. right?
Yeah.
There's like that. There's a hint of the backstory that gives. They only give you like a few minutes of it or something, but enough to really tease you with it. You're like, oh, this is why this Santa is such a badass.
And the whole cast, the cast is fantastic.
Yeah, John Leguizamo is
And
one. Yeah, that's
Beverly
right.
D'Angelo is fantastic in this, as she always is. A really, really good cast from top to bottom.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm afraid I don't recognize most of the other people,
My
but
my buddy Cam Gigande is hilarious. I'd never really seen that side of him before. He was really good.
see,
Yeah, it was
he was one of the henchmen.
no. Cam was he was the boyfriend of the sister who was also great. He's the wannabe the movie star
Oh,
who's trying to get the mother to fund his action picture because
that's,
he's big in parts of Asia.
that's right.
And the sister's like, last year we were in parts of Asia, and it's like we couldn't even go to a restaurant.
We were.
We were in parts of Asia. Yeah, yeah, really good. But that's what I got for the holidays.
Yeah, I don't have other than getting around to questions. I think one thing we wanted to talk about uh, was basically kind of an update on where we're at in
Yeah.
terms of the show, and because of the strike, and because I was busy, and for other reasons, and for reasons, we have been very slow to put on episodes, but we haven't stopped recording them. So we have a backlog now of
Yeah.
drops. So don't be too surprised when you get a drop forthcoming where Anson and I discuss something that came out like a year ago and talk about being really excited for when it comes out. But it's been out for a year. So there's going to be a backlog. Hopefully we'll get that stuff started out the door and flushed out the system.
I have a little episode I did when I was at Dragon Con this year, just asking people at Dragon Con. And if you don't know anything about Dragon Con, it is like the Mardi Gras of pop culture conventions. And I just did this thing where I asked everybody to come find me at where I was at the convention and tell me their best Dragon Con story. So I have a fun little episode about that coming up.
Oh, oh, good. So that's one. Somebody just asked, and I meant to get to this, especially if someone pointed it out. But Mike asked, which of you two has a crowd over to your house? I can hear them in the background. I apologize, everyone. I can't do anything about it. To I getting this live stream up has been something of a comedy of errors. Um, I'm in Minnesota right now, and my wife's family's internet wasn't fast enough for this. So I came to their place of business, which is the Hmong Elder Center in Minnesota. If you have a Hmong Elder, this is where they go in the daytime. And normally on the weekends, it is empty. And they had sufficient speeds up and down for this live stream. And then we pull in to the facility this morning, and my brother-in-law sees all the cars and goes, "Oh, right, we're leasing this out to a church." And I'm like, I only needed two things: a decent upload speed and quiet. That was it. I needed, and then it's a little better right now. I was close to. I wasn't gonna cancel it. I didn't know what I was gonna do, but when we first got here, everyone had their PA systems on and they were playing and singing music, and I could barely hear myself like 30 minutes ago, and I didn't know. I was just crossing my fingers and hoping that this would work. So that explains the noise, Mike. I think the service is actually over, and now they're in that kind of milling about, socializing part of the church evening. But back to episodes, our backlog of episodes, and the fact that you're going to be rolling out older ones as we go along. You will actually get the chance over the next couple of months to watch Anson and I get slightly younger on our YouTube, just slightly. So what we've built inadvertently is a time machine featuring old old recommendations, but that's okay. We were never that bent on being current, right?
Right.
A lot of our recommendations are.
We don't have to be current anymore. We're old.
That's true. That's true. Somebody asked if we had seen Godzilla minus one, the movie. Have you seen it?
No. Godzilla -1?
Yeah,
No.
it's good.
Is that what all the kids are watching these
That's what the
days?
kids are watching when they're not having back surgery. That's what all the kids are doing. They no, I saw Godzilla minus one. I loved it. It's really, really, really good. It's interesting. It's I don't know the name of the director, but he apparently also did the visual effects. He's kind of like Gareth Edwards, who did Rogue One. He just did The Creator.
Apparently has a new movie out, I believe.
Gareth Edwards?
Yeah.
Yeah, Creator.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's kind of made his name as kind of a not a one person crew. I mean, his first film, Monsters, he made, he wrote, directed, and produced all the visual effects for it. So he's a director who really can handle visual effects, who thinks in that way. And I found that directors with that experience can really elevate that stuff to another level, like Gareth Edwards, Guillermo del Toro has a background in effects. They just understand that tool so well. They can do some really, really amazing and beautiful things with it. It's getting louder. And minus one is a similar story. I think this is a Japanese director who wrote, directed, and produced the visual effects for it. And it makes a difference for a movie like this because I think directors with that background know how to imagine, okay, what would this look like from the ground level, right? Or what would a human perspective of such an event look like? And it changes the way the whole thing feels. And it's a good story, and it's actually the kind of his origin story. So not quite, but it's a period piece. It's going back to 1947, I think, in post-war Japan. It's good. It's good. Someone says, I remember when you guys tried to do a Facebook live stream back in 21. Talk about a comedy of errors. Yes, it was. And at least we're on now. At least this is working. Next time, it'll get better each time. Next time I'll find a quiet place. Oh, this has been my whole. Somebody asked if you had made that mug that you're drinking out of.
No, I knew someone would ask that. No, this is some piece of shit mass market. I don't know what it is. No, I should be drinking from my own mugs.
Yeah, shouldn't you? Why are you making them for?
I keep giving them away to friends, like you.
Oh, I sold it.
Why aren't you drinking from my mug?
I sold your mug, man. I got $3. When did you get so good at pottery? How did you get so good at pottery?
Me? You're
Yes,
asking
I'm
me?
asking you. Because it was sudden. Like, you went from not making pottery to making pottery and then doing it well. And I have a theory.
Okay. I'm not sure. I feel like it's been a very gradual process for me. I sort of have just been doing it as consistently as I can when I'm not working and achieving better and better results. And every time I go shoot a season, I come back and I've gone back several steps and I have to relearn the muscle memory and I don't know, and I've started experimenting and trying. And you learn as you go. You learn things that work and things that don't work. What's your theory?
I have a theory. I believe that you went down to the crossroads at midnight and you pushed your whole potter's wheel down there and you made a deal with the devil to make you the best potter that ever lived. And you signed the document and that's it. And then, yeah.
For all the fame and fortune and worldliness that comes with being a great potter. Yeah.
Um, uh, you've heard this joke about the guy who sold his soul to the devil to play the guitar, and it's the whole story. It goes down to the
Oh yeah.
crossroads.
Oh yeah.
Um, tells the devil that he wants to be an amazing guitar player, the best guitar player ever. And he's the guitar, and the devil says, "All right, sign away your soul." Okay, great. He signs it. He said, "All right, what now?" And the devil says, "Okay, meet me here again tomorrow at midnight. We'll start with scales."
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Yeah. There's no magic button to make yourself good at a particular craft.
Anson, I'm gonna have to you're gonna have to take over for just like 20 seconds.
Oh,
I gotta plug in.
okay.
See,
Sure.
power. Didn't have time for that.
Okay.
Oh, I'll ask you a question.
Please, because I don't have the feed.
Somebody wrote, "No wonder he hurt his back pushing that thing to the crossroads." Thank you for picking up my joke and moving it along. You know what? Here's one that's it's not. Here's one. Oh, interesting. Shin Godzilla, the previous Godzilla, was all about the impotence of bureaucracy. I didn't see that one, but now I want to. A monster film about the impotence of bureaucracy. Yes, please. No, there's a question here from. Oh, what kind of? Oh yes, and then the direct somebody filled me in on the name of the director, Takashi Yamazaki. Thank you, Eliza. Now somebody's asking, Christmas movies. Have you ever been offered one? Do you want to be in one? And if you did,
Oh,
what kind of Christmas film would it be? Would it be like Violent Night and go?
oh my goodness. Have I ever been offered a Christmas movie? Trying to think. I I don't I don't think I have. I'm not even sure. Have I done anything Christmas themed? I don't think I have. I'm not sure why. I would love to do a Christmas movie. You know, and Doug Jones is another person who has said after these years and years and years of doing prosthetic makeup that all he wants is to be offered a Hallmark Christmas movie where he can wear a fuzzy sweater and just expound upon, play somebody's uncle who provides insight. That sounds pretty good to me. What kind of Christmas movie? I don't know. Something particularly Southern and Anglican would be something that I would probably fit well into, as would Branan. An Anglican's Christmas, what would we call it? The Episcopalian Christmas extravaganza.
No, wait a minute. Episcopalian and extravaganza does not go together.
No, it doesn't.
There's no extravaganza in the Episcopal Church.
No, I've never really thought about that, but I would absolutely love to do a Christmas movie. I've become far less serious and demanding of what I want my oeuvre to be, because I've learned through my years in this business is that we have so little control over what that is going to be. And so I've started, I tend to walk through the open door.
Nice.
So we'll see.
Nice. Somebody, I'm sorry. While I had my headphones off, did you bring up Doug Jones, or is this Tom bringing
I
up Doug
did. I
Jones?
did.
Okay.
I brought up Doug Jones. Yeah.
And that he's always wanted to make a Christmas film.
Yeah.
And I remember when we interviewed him, and he said, all he wants to do is make a Christmas film where he's just like, you've already said all this, just wearing a sweater and drinking cocoa. And then I said, but completely covered in prosthetics, and he was like, no, no. Damn you, no. But prosthetics to make him look exactly like Doug Jones.
Yeah.
A slightly perfected one, but if the guy does his job right, you won't even be able to tell.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here's one. So what incident best sums up your friendship?
Oh,
An incident.
gosh. I don't know.
I know we've known each other for a while, so you have to kind of. You're watching us search the memory banks right now, like.
Probably how we met. Maybe.
Yeah.
We were 18, and at a cast party for Trojan Women. Was that?
Was it Trojan Women?
Was it Trojan Women?
Or was it? No, I think it was. It was the Russian.
Lower Depths.
Lower Depths, I think.
I
think because I remember being very drunk at that cast party. I was not in the cast. I was doing makeup effects.
And who was singing the bass line and who was singing the lyrics?
Well,
I think I was singing the lyrics.
I don't remember. You were drunk too.
Yeah, I think because I was at the urinal, and then I was like, I had this song by Danzig going through my head. I'm the one, and it goes, I was born in the dust. And I hear somebody do the bass line in the stall next to me. And so I sang the next lyric. I was like, I never had no home. There were places I lived. And then like eventually we both flush and we come out and we're doing the whole song, right?
And like I don't know who's in there. He doesn't know who. And yeah, the stall doors open. We come out like Kramer, like it's you.
Like, how do you know this song?
I did.
You around, but who are you?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, that's a good one. Yeah, that was how we met, and then we don't. Yeah, no, I think we have all the details straight. I remember. I don't want to get into gossip. It's not gossip, but there was a woman in the cast that all the guys were. I don't think you were, but there was a woman in the cast she was Russian, and all the guys had a crush on her. And
yeah, I know you're talking about. I did not.
I just remember.
She was lovely.
Yeah, I just remember. I can put it this way. This is how drunk I was at that cast party. I was dancing. I was dancing with Nadia. Yeah, that's how drunk I was. And then I remember it was definitely Lower Depths because I remember that set, and this must have been after. He's definitely after the the Danzig in the bathroom incident. And I remember. Yeah. We were kind of running around on the set, and at one point, it's kind of a second level to it, and I think I was up there, and I guess you and I were starting to like hit it off, and you were down underneath. I was probably 10 feet up.
There was a triple bunk.
Yeah.
Like a giant triple bunk.
Yeah, and you were down on the ground, and I was pretending like I was gonna jump, and you were pretending like you were gonna catch me. You're like, do it. Come on. And I'm like, I'm kidding. What are you doing? I'm not jumping off of this thing. I just met you in the bathroom. I mean, we went to college together, so we'd seen each other around all the time, but we hadn't really I guess we hadn't really talked.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah. How can you hear that, Anson? All that background?
Not really. No, no, I can't.
Oh, okay. Well, um, oh, okay. This is a simple one. One we should have covered already. What are your favorite Christmas movies?
Hmm. Christmas movies. I don't know.
Good answer. I already talked about mine on the drop. Um, Wait a
I
minute.
mean, we kind of had this conversation with one of our guests back in top of second season. Um, um, I don't know. I'm fond of It's a Wonderful Life. You know what I really like? I rediscovered recently was White Christmas, Bing Crosby and
Oh yeah.
Danny Kaye. Yeah, it really holds. It's such a good, a great example of a 50s, musical film done well and with a lot of heart behind it. It's just such a good movie. I loved it.
I did. You know what's terrible? Oh, okay. Never mind. I think I did see it recently. I sort of kind of caught it kind of out of. I wasn't really paying close attention to it, but yeah, no, I've seen it. Maybe I should go back and watch that again. Mine, we've
It's
just
great. And
my.
the witty banter, the witty
Yeah,
the writing, the sharp comedy writing at that time was so good. There's stuff if you're not listening, you will miss half the humor,
I think
in it.
I was about to say that style has kind of gone away, but not really. I mean, I'm thinking of like, for some reason, I jumped to something like Gilmore Girls. It's not like, but even the way people talk, the way comedy writers write, not the way people talk, right?
All right.
But it
Yeah.
was, yeah, I remember that. It was very sharp. Mine, I mean, there's some obvious ones I think we can all agree on. I mean, I think, um, um, I think the one that my family always watched was A Christmas Story. I mean, that's the one that I grew up watching to the point where I have it memorized. Um,
I love that. Yeah, I love that movie too.
it's such a, I can't describe that film. It has such a beautifully warm, nostalgic feel to it. It feels like a memory. I
There's
can't
really
describe it.
We watched it again last year, and there's really no plot to that movie uh, at all. I mean, other than wanting that particular present and getting it, uh, there's really no story to that film. There's no overarching story, but yet it's just it's really lovely.
Uh, the director for that film is one of the has one of the strangest filmographies. When I first looked it up, I'm looking at it again right now. It's surprising, and I'm going to miss a couple of things. He did, well, first of all, early in his career, he did Black Christmas. He did an early, like, crossover Christmas horror film with like a homicidal Santa.
Hmm.
So earlier in his career, in like 1974, he made a film that was, yeah, Christmas horror. Uh, he did a lot of horror films. Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. Is that the one? I can't remember that he did. I gotta check this out real quick. Make sure I'm getting this right. Um, nope, not that one. I can't remember. There's a one that he did, and I'm not finding it right at the moment.
Wasn't there?
But he did.
Isn't there a?
He also did Porky's.
Oh gosh.
Porky's 2 the next day. Then he immediately did A Christmas Story. Rhinestone, Turk 182, Amazing Stories. Um,
Wow.
Such a very baby geniuses.
Wasn't there a horror movie about? Wasn't there a horror movie about Krampus? There has to have been a
Recently there was, yeah.
Krampus.
There may have been
Yeah,
more than
yeah.
that, but there's definitely
The
one recently.
anti, the anti Santa.
Yes.
That back in the day there wasn't just like centuries ago there wasn't just Santa. That there was actually to the bad little girls and boys. Parents would tell their kids there was a being called Krampus that was looked very much like Satan that would come and drag them down into hell.
Yeah. Yeah. And clearly from another time.
We've gotten so soft on our kids.
And clearly from another time, it was one of those holdovers the from the pagan culture that the Christian culture kind of superimposed themselves on. But I
Right.
actually I think about this a lot. I think about the sort of the compromises that early Christian missionaries must have made to like, okay, you can keep doing the lighting the tree if that's so important to you. I know it's dark and y'all like to burn the tree, and okay, fine, keep doing that. But remember, it's for Jesus. So they're like, okay, okay, can we keep Krampus? And they're like, what? Okay, fine. Because Santa didn't show up until later. That was Saint Nicholas, Santa Claus. But I can't remember. But it was actually the Coca-Cola company that gave us all of our Christmas imagery that now Americans, mostly in America, think, and now we've exported around the world now. Is now our Christmas is that version of Santa, that version of the reindeer, all that stuff is all from a marketing campaign. How American is that? And it gets twisted around the world. Oh, which leads me to my. I know I already talked about this on the drop. Gosh, what's wrong with me? Like other people like normal Christmas films, with like a good heart and a good message, but I like no, it's not the Santa Claus. I think it's just called Santa Claus. The Mexican film. I know I told you about this.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'll just run
Yeah.
through it real quick for those who don't know what I'm talking about. It's a Mexican film made in the early '60s, I think, and they just get some of the Christmas Santa Claus lore a little bit. Well, it's a little bit different. Santa Claus does not live on the North Pole. He lives on the moon. Instead of elves, he has a little boy and a little girl from every country in the world. So it's like a sweatshop UN. And he only delivers presents to the rich boys and girls. And his nightly route is thwarted, or the devil is trying to prevent Satan from making his deliveries. And the devil enlists the help of all the poor boys and girls. This movie exists. And it's a good time. And of course, there's Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, but yeah, that's
Yeah. Santa
that's
Claus
that's
Conquers the
just silly.
Martians is wacky, man. That is a fun film.
Oh yes, the little. Sorry, I'm reading. Larry. I think someone's given us some other Christmas horror films. Um, let's see. Um, oh, any plans for? Carol asked, any plans for New Year's Eve?
Um,
Man, I'm just catching Anson off guard left and right. I will say you did have back surgery, so.
yeah, so probably not. Probably not a lot. There is some talk of maybe going, maybe doing an like a early countdown for the kids with some friends who also have toddlers, but my wife is in charge of that. So if we do that, I'll do the countdown sometime in the afternoon with the kids. I don't know.
It's yeah, cheers, ring bells. It's still daylight outside.
Yeah,
All right, that's it,
yeah.
everyone. Go to bed. Um, Oh, so somebody has seen the Mexican Santa Claus movie on MST3K, along with, I think Jeff also mentioned that was also MST3K did Santa Claus Conquers the Martians and the Mexican Santa Claus film. I mean, how else would I have seen it? Oh, okay, here we go. Why is your podcast called The Well? Can you explain the diagram involving the heart over the water? I like how we both just froze.
Well,
uh,
the well. It was the original idea for the title was either going to be the well or the spark. And the well is just sort of the place that we go to get our inspiration, and the we do like to think this podcast is about creativity and inspiration, and I don't know, just got this. I had this concept of the well, and instead of there being a bucket, there was a heart being brought up to a head, and try to get my sister, who's an illustrator, to do it, and she did not have time, but she did do us the favor of tossing it to her valedictorian, because she also teaches, her valedictorian or valedictorian, top of the class, I'm not sure, but from the year previous, who is also now an illustrator, and she did just an absolute bang up job. um, I love our logo and everything about it.
yeah, no, the head and heart thing was sort of mine, of framing it inside the head, and the idea that because there's sort of two versions. There's the icon that has in this through the head, which is, now that I think about it, pretty cool that it changes, that the outline changes the context of that image of the well with the heart underneath it. I remember kind of thinking that it's a cenote. It's kind of based on a Mexican cenote, and I just kind of thought of how there's always a supply of sort of an infinite supply of fresh water just under the ground, and that's something that you can tap into if you know how to.
Yeah,
Have you ever been to the Mexican cenote?
I've been to a cenote before with you, I believe. Didn't we go to a cenote in Belize?
Oh, yeah. Was that a cenote? I guess it was. Yeah.
I think so.
We floated through it, right?
Yeah, but maybe I was at a cenote a different trip to Belize. I've been to Belize a lot of times.
I think it was still a cenote, just because
Yeah,
it was. Um,
yeah.
some of them are geothermic. I was just down there. I was right next to the ocean, and if you were able to swim down just like 30, 40 feet, it got hot.
Hmm.
And it was kind of on, but I think it didn't get too hot because it was actually on the ocean, so the current was always a heat sink on that little thermal spot. So the ocean was keeping it from getting too hot. But like I remember diving down and going from like, ooh, it's cold to, ooh, it's warm to, oh crap. I'm not going down that far again and get cooked. Um
I believe I'm gonna have to wrap this up because my back is killing me in this position. I gotta go lay down.
oh no.
I'm sorry to say.
Oh no. Oh no.
Sorry to say. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can wrap this up. I'm going to say very quickly, thank you everyone for
Yeah.
for chiming in. I mean, this is a little bit of a shot in the dark. We don't know how many people would join us on Christmas Eve. We're very, very, very happy that you did. And this technically all seems to be mostly working. Next time I'll do it when there's not a church service 12 feet away from me.
When I haven't just had back surgery.
And Anson has had back surgery, and we'll try to do this a little more often. It was years ago we tried this last, and we'll get a little bit more adept at it, and we will get better at it. Yeah, there's a bunch of questions here about my guitar playing, which I appreciate, but I will take care of those off air. Does that make sense? So
I guess.
My dream guitar, very quickly. Sometimes I would like to have I like simple guitars. I like the Dan Electros, old, simple, made by Sears. I don't deserve a nice guitar. You know, there's really people fetishize really nice guitars like Ferraris. I'm just gonna break them.
Did I tell you I started playing mandolin again?
No, no, you
Yeah,
do not.
yeah. I finally invested in a good one. it's,
Oh, how's it going?
it's great. It's a hell of a lot easier than that battle axe I tried to play in my 30s.
Isn't it interesting how like you can fight your instrument for a while and then
Yeah,
you end up getting a nice one and you're like, oh, it wasn't just me the whole time.
yeah, yeah.
uh, all right, guys. If I start talking about guitars, I'll be here all day. So even though I don't know much about it really, so all right. Thanks for joining us, and I do hope everyone has a very, very, very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays,
Yeah, thanks
and
for joining us.
really, thanks for joining us. We really do appreciate it, and we'll schedule another one soon. More well to come. Man, I'm a terrible salesman. Um,
And if you're not following our YouTube channel already, please do.
oh yeah. We're gonna
But
be more.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. I was picking up on that. There's gonna be more things that are gonna be going to YouTube. We're gonna try to edit things in such a way that they work for both video and audio, so you can listen to the podcast the same old way, but there'll also be the video component going forward. That's it. All right.
Thanks,
And
guys.
I'm going to sign off, and I'm going to see if I can go to our bumper. See, isn't it fun to watch me announce whether or not I'm doing this correctly? Watch this. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.